When I was on television, I went to a hairstylist. Today, a retired senior citizen. I went down to the homeless camp and I said, "Style it, dude." And I don't know. I think it's pretty dashing. I look a little more like Captain Picard, but the hair is a little light. But we can fix that by dyeing it or going back to radio. I wanted to be serious on this morning's video. There is so much that I would love to say, but I want to talk a little bit about my first love, talk radio. You know, there was a time when I was on one of the most powerful radio stations in the Northwest, and they came in one day and they handed me a list of what my opinions were. And I had a lot of trouble with this because my idea is one of the, and I don't think this could be argued, one of the founders of talk radio in the Pacific Northwest. I've even been accused of being the person that made it all liberal. But at that time, there were 10 talk shows in the Pacific Northwest with liberal talk show hosts. You know, we used to balance it. This is something I learned many years ago in Lancaster, California. We used to balance the talk shows with a host that was liberal and a host that was conservative. That brings me back to that list. Now, at that time, I had been told by my program director, in fact, I was brought into his office, and he said, "You know, Jerry, you are the best interviewer we have ever had at this big, powerful radio station." I took that as meaning it was a type of job security. And at the same time, there was an automobile show, and I had gone to the automobile show to do the broadcast. And my producer, name was Dan, had got together with a Subaru salesman, and they were talking about Jerry needs a new car. So Dan came to me and he said, "I found the perfect car for you, Jerry." I said, "Really? What kind is it?" He said, "It's a Subaru." So I said, "That's good, Dan. I like Subarus. I like Swiss cars." Dan shook his head. So next news break, Dan took me over to look at this fancy, it's the first one in Portland, Subaru XT. This was back in 1986. It was a fantastic car. Looked like a sports car. Had everything I liked. Fancy knobs and dials and meters that went up and down, and a gear shift that looked like it belonged in an XB-70 aircraft. And I said, "Man, the Swiss really build great cars." And I looked at the price tag. It was $20,000. And I said, "Dan, I know that I'm really a stellar broadcaster, but I don't think I can afford $20,000. This is when the salesman showed up. The salesman said, "Yeah, this is a fine car, Mr. Dimmitt." And I said, "I love Swiss cars." But I said, "I'll tell you the truth, this car is more than I can afford, really, to be honest. I don't dare do this." Well, Dan and the salesman get together, and the next thing they came back and said, "Mr. Dimmitt, if you really want this car, it's yours. Drive it out of the Coliseum, $10,000. I said, "Well, the payments would have to be around $200 a month." He said, "Oh, yes, the payments would be $200 a month." So, me having no resistance as salesman, I immediately bought the car. And I almost lost it because the sales tax of Washington, I bought it. I never even drove the car, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, I bought it. And I went right back to the radio station to the operations manager, and I said, listen, here's the dilemma. You sent me to the Coliseum to broadcast from the auto show. And he goes, yes, I did. I said, I need to know something. I'm going to buy a car. I didn't tell him I'd already bought it. But I said, how safe and secure is my job? He said, your job is fine. Don't worry about it. You deserve a new car. Drive that car with pride. So I did. But it was at this time I got a list of what my opinions were. And I said on the air one day, they have a thing called a disclaimer. And I said on the air, you know, these are not the sponsor's opinions. They're not the station's management's opinions. And they're not my opinions. I really don't know whose opinions they are. Well, that resulted in immediately being fired within the next day, along with some of the other liberal talk show hosts in town. Well, that was the start of something back in 1989 that has progressed like a cancer through all of broadcasting. I was agog. Let me tell you about CNN. I don't like telling these stories because it sounds like I'm bragging. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just trying to put things in order, the blocks for you, so you can think about it. CNN made a tremendous swing to the right. I'm not sure what year it is. And if you check on CNN and look me up on CNN, I think I'm listed there as the Dimmitt, you will see that I had the highest awards on the iReporter site. I mean, videos were getting 40,000 views. I was on CNN about every week on the network. I was doing very well. They were sending me backpacks, coffee cups, all kinds of things. But something very strange happened. Bank of America became a sponsor. And suddenly, in one day, my videos dropped from 40,000 views down to 5. I know that I may be losing it and I don't have the talent that I once had. But to go from 40,000 views down to 5, there was something radically wrong. Myself and a number of the other hosts that leaned to the left soon had the same problem. See, sponsors really control what goes on the air. It was very frustrating, and I stopped messing on CNN. And I don't know if all those awards that I had still show on my page there. I don't even know if my page is still there. This election that we're going through right now is strange. I don't know if I'm the only one that notices this. I can't be. Never in the history of elections have we started so far ahead of the election. We used to have a thing called equal time. We do not have equal time anymore. If you had a stopwatch every time they talked about Hillary Clinton and when they talk about Donald Trump, you would find that it's all one-sided to the right. And when I listened on CNN for the first time in several years the other night, it has swung totally to the right. What happened to talk radio has happened to the media in total. I don't know where you can go to find decent news these days. I used to end every talk show with this phrase: when tongue and pen alike are free, safe from foe stands democracy. Well, tongue and pen are not really safe, and they're not really free. And I fear greatly what's going to happen to this democracy. I sense civil war in the future, and it makes me very nervous. If you will excuse me.